Hi everybody, so I'm just going to continue where I left off, creating this little rabbit wearing a pumpkin costume, and the idea of it was to have it as a little candy jar. So just add whatever it is that you'd like inside, and with or without, it sits quite nicely. So to review, these are the supplies that you're going to need to create this. White, orange, black, green, pink. 12mm I'm using for the Saftey Eyes. Pick what you would like to use. 7mm pony bead, 4mm pony bead, or your bands. So I'm going to continue, and I do hope you enjoy. For the ears, I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. So I'm going to start off with doing 9 single crochets in the magic ring. So I have 9 bands here. I'm going to bring them through the cap band, so a single band wrapped around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. You want to bring your 9 bands through one at a time. So reach in and grab your first one to bring through on your hook and bring your top loop over. Make sure you bring your bands to the side. Again, bring your band through. This time you're bringing the 2 loops over and bring it to the side. And just repeat. In and attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. Move your bands around and you should have 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is on your hook. For rounds 2, 3, and 4, you're just adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each round, I have 9 bands here, so you're going to do 9 single crochets, and you'll have 9 stitches when you're done. I'm going to do round 2 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do rounds 3 and 4. So just going in the first chain with 1 band. And then chain 2 with 1. All the way till you get to the stitch marker. And just remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. And you can pause the video to complete rounds 3 and 4. For round 5, we're going to decrease this twice. So the pattern is 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. I'm going to do the invisible decrease. I'm adding an extra band. Again, 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. And then you're ending where your stitch marker is, just with a single crochet, 1 band. So let's go on our first 2 chains with 1 band in each. The next with 1. Now your invisible decrease, you're going to do a slip stitch in each chain and leave it on your hook. So going in my first with a slip stitch, so I have 2 loops. Go to your next chain with a slip stitch, so you have 3 loops, and slide. We're going to do 2 single crochets, so in the next 2 chains add 1 band. And then slip stitch on each and leave it. Three loops and slide. And I just have 1 chain left, so let's add our last band. You should have 7 stitches and remove your stitch marker. For rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're just doing 7 single crochets. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed, which I'll show you that in 1 second. And then you're going to add 2 sewing bands to each ear. So I'm going to do round 6 with you. You're going to go in your first chain just with 1 band. And move on to the next 1 band until you get to your stitch marker. So you can remove the stitch marker. And when you've completed all the rounds, your last band, you're going to do that slip knot. So bring it through all of the loops and tie it off, and you would remove your stitch marker. So when you're done all the rounds, this is what your ear should look like. I'm going to bring my slip knot here to the side, and you're going to go through the center 2 chains on either side. So just skip the 2 chains that are beside the slip knot and bring your band through. So this is 1 sewing band, and we need another one at the side. So please pause the video and come back to me when you're done. I'm going to show you how to do the tail now. I almost forgot to add this part in. I'm going to start off with 9 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you want to reach in and pull your 9 bands through 1 at a time. So on your hook, and bring your top loop over and bring it to the side, and go back in for your second one to bring through. And from now on, you'll be bringing the top 2 loops over and bring it to the side. A lot of bands are going in, so make sure that you're bringing it to the side. And you want to attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 9 stitches. You want to move your bands around so that they're nice and even. It's really important that you do that. And if you squish this together a little bit, that little hole in the center that was stretched from the loom and the amount of bands that we have on, the hole will get smaller. For round 2, we're just going to single crochet in each chain around. So that's adding 1 band. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. You can see I have 9 bands here. So you're going to do 9 stitches. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So just do a single crochet in each chain until you get to the stitch marker, making sure your last band, you do a slip knot. So I'm just going in each chain with 1 band. I'm sorry. I was trying so hard to hold that in. So this is the last chain. My stitch marker already came out, but that's okay. You're just going to pull your band through all of the loops and tie it closed. And this is what you should have. Now we're going to sew on the tail to the back, and I'm going to use 9 single bands. what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my legs in half, and I'm going to use the same way I'm going to do the same way that I sewed on the legs for the tail. So you want to fold this line here in this back. You want to look at this one and fold it in half, and you're going to look for 2 stitches that are in the center. So roughly, you're going to be using 2 bottom stitches. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go onto this, and I'm going to bring one of the stitches. I'm going to go through with my hook through one of the stitches, and I'm going to go through the first little bottom loop, that single band. And I'm going to bring one of my bands through that loop on the body and that loop on the tail. Grab the end and slide. Now I'm going to go right beside the stitch on the tail, and I'm going to go right to the next stitch on this body. So all I did was use 2 of the loops that I have here. So I'm going to show you again. I went through that one. I'm going to grab the one right beside and just take a single band and bring it through. And I'm going to do a slip knot, and I'm going to tie it off. Now I'm going to find the stitch at the top, which is the 4th stitch. So if you count right where you left off, or right where you started, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the top stitch. So you should have 3 on this side, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 on this side, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to put your hook straight down, and you don't want to stretch your tail. Go straight down, and where your hook points to, that's the stitch that you're going to grab. So you're going to bring your band through and slide, and then you're going to do 3 single crochets on this side, grabbing these 3 chains. So I'm going to go through the stitch, and I'm going to put my hook flat down. So I'm not stretching it over, I'm putting it straight down. So if you loosen it up, your hook's going to tell you where to grab. And you're going to grab your band and bring it through and just do a crochet. 2 more stitches the same way. Loosen up your hook here, and that's the stitch you're going to grab. On your hook and slide. You have 1 more, which we're going to do a slip knot. So go in, put your hook straight down, don't stretch it. Put your hook straight down. And bring your band through all of the loops and do a slip knot. Now I'm going to do the 3 stitches on the other side, 1, 2, and 3. And the same thing, just putting the hook straight down. Two more, hook straight down. And this is the last one, so you do a slip knot, hook straight down. And tie it off. So now you have these 4 bands to hide, which I'm going to bring them right into the center, each one. Just like that. And you can continue hiding these ones. Round 1 of the head, we're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So we're on the head now. You're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And pull 5 bands through, one at a time. Attach your stitch marker and then remove off the loom. Round 2 of the head, we're going to increase on each stitch around. So you're adding 2 bands, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So your first chain with 2. You're just repeating this 5 times. Back in. The next chain with 2. Back in. So you have 3 chains left. Just repeat. And the last chain with 2. You should have 10 stitches, and remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase this round to 15 stitches. So the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2. So a single crochet followed by an increase. And you're going to do that 5 times. So my first chain with 1, and the second chain with 2. Back in. Such basic math. I increase by 5 on each of my rounds, and then repeat 1 and 2. If I started with a magic ring of 5, then I'll increase on every round by 5. Should have 15 stitches, and remove your stitch marker. For round 4, we're going to increase now on every 3rd stitch. So at the end of round 4, you're going to have 20 stitches, and the pattern is 1, 1, 2. So 2 single crochets followed by an increase. You're just going to repeat this 5 times until you get to the stitch marker. So go in your first 2 chains just with 1 band, chain 2 with 1, and then chain 3, you're adding 2 bands. So again, 2 single crochets followed by an increase. One, 1, 2. Again. And one more time. 1, 1, 2. You should have 20 stitches, and remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 5, we're going to increase on every 4th stitch. So you're doing 3 single crochets followed by an increase. 1, 1, 1, 2. Let's repeat this 5 times, and at the end of round 5, you're going to have 25 stitches. So going in the first 3 chains with 1 band. Chain 2 with 1. And chain 3 with 1. Your 4th chain, add 2 bands, back in, and repeat 1, 1, 1, 2. Just repeat until you get to your stitch marker. You should have 25 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For rounds 6 and 7, we're doing 25 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 25 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 25 stitches. I'm going to do part of round 6 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you've completed round 7. So go in your first chain with 1 band. That's 1 single crochet. Chain 2, I'm just adding 1 all the way until you get to the stitch marker. So you can pause the video now and complete the round, remove your stitch marker, and then start round 7. For round 8, we're going to add the eyes, and we're going to do 25 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way around. This round we're going to be adding the eyes, and I'm going to be adding the safety eyes. So this is a 12 millimeter, and that's what I used on this one. You want to pick what you want to use for the eyes. You can use a 7 millimeter pony bead or a 4 millimeter. If you want bigger eyes or smaller eyes, it's whatever you like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use bands, or however you have been making eyes. You know, you want to do it your way. I'm going to, because I'm using the safety eyes, I don't know any other better way. I'm going to add the placement with 2 black bands, and then when I'm done the head, I'm going to attach the eyes where my bands are, just so I can have the same placement as everybody that's using the pony beads or the bands. We're going to add the eyes on chains 10 and 16. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One eye is going to go here, and then on 16. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. That's where you want to add the eyes. So if you're not using the rubber bands and you're using the beads, just pinch and slide. If you are using the bands, just move your little elastic up on the hook, grab a band and maybe wrap it around your hook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And slide this onto a single band. And again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when I'm closer down to the bottom of the head, that's when I'll be adding the safety eyes. So let's go in our first 9 chains, just that single band. This is the 10th stitch. Add your eye and then continue. This is chain 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now just add 1 band to each chain until you get to the stitch marker. So you should still have 25 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12, you're just adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 25 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 25 stitches. So I'm going to do part 9 with you, part of part 9, and then you are going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So just adding 1 single crochet to each chain. When you get to the eyes, be careful that you want to go in those both little chains. If you're using a bit larger pony bead, this little chain here will be so tiny. You don't want to skip that. You want to go through. And I'll just go to the other eye. Don't forget, open it up and make sure you're going through that tiny chain if you are using the larger pony beads, or really any pony bead. So you want to pause the video now and come back to me when you're complete. Now I'm going to add on my safety eyes, and I'm just going to go in the holes right beside the little bands that you see here. So just so you know, this is what I am doing. Just pushing it through, going to the back and getting my backing. And then I'll just use the scissors to cut the little band there. Now be careful that you don't cut the white. Now to do the nose, what I would do first is I'm going to suggest that you actually secure this so it doesn't fall apart. So I'm just going to take my stitch marker and just catch on to the next stitch right beside. For the nose, I'm going to use 3 pink bands and 2 white. I'm going to take 2 double bands. I'm going to give it a stretch, twist it, and double it. And I'm just going to kind of move it around with my hook so it's not so twisted. And I'm just going to take this off my fingers, and I'm going to tie these together with a single pink band. So a slip knot. Now I want to open up these 4 little bands that you have here at the top and make sure that your loops are even, so that they kind of, you want to grab 2 of the same kind of loops. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to hold on to this one and kind of untwist. Just open it up so you have 2 loops on one side and 2 loops on the other. Okay, now find your nose placement. What I do is I kind of go like in the towards the middle here, and I count 2 rows down. So 1 and 2, these little holes here. I'm going to bring 2 loops through that hole. So I'm going to go from the back, so underneath out, and bring 2 of the loops through. Now I'm going to skip this middle stitch. So I'm right in here, I'm going to skip and I'm going to go to the next one with my hook and bring your next 2 loops through. So those 2 bands that we doubled up. So you can see I missed that little hole in the center. Now I'm going to do a slip knot in the back. Make sure you catch all 4 loops. I'm just going to kind of fix it twisted. I have 4 loops on my hook, and with a single white band, do a slip knot. Now this band, I'm going to bring to the hole right below. So you can see right on an angle here, I'm going to bring this band through there. I'm going to pull it out of the hole right beside. So from the inside out, I'm going to grab that single little loop and bring it through. I'm going to let go and go from the top to inside and grab that single pink band. Now I'm going to bring this end through that center loop, that center hole that we missed. So I'm going to let go and I'm going to go through that hole in the middle and bring this band through. I'm going to turn it around and I'm just going to catch one of these little single pink bands here and do a slip knot with a single white band. And then you can fix up the tension and we have our nose on. Now we're at round 13 and I'm just going to ask that you unsecure this before we start and put it back on your hook. Now the pattern is going to be 1, 2, 3, so 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. I am just going to stitch 4 and 5 together. So it's 1, 1, 1, 4 and 5 together. 1, 1, 1, 4 and 5 together. You're going to repeat this 5 times. I'm not using the invisible decrease for this round. I want the cheeks to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to go in the first 3 chains, just doing a single crochet. Now take chains 4 and 5 and stitch together. I like to move the head down into the center of that single band just to relieve some of the tension. So to repeat, 1 band in the next 3 chains. And now take chains 4 and 5 and stitch together. Move it to the center, grab the end and side, and repeat. Just repeat this pattern until you get to your stitch marker. Oops. So right now you should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 14, this is the pattern. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. You're going to repeat that 5 times, and at the end of round 14 you're going to have 15 stitches. So let's go on our first 2 chains with 1 band. Three and 4 together. One, next chain with 1, 3 and 4 together. Repeat 1, 1, 3 and 4 together. Just do this until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove the stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and you want to grab some stuffing. So we're going to fill, don't use too much. For some reason lately I'm using a little bit too much stuffing in mine, and then the bands look all kind of loose. Move your stuffing around. You want a nice shape ball, and push with your finger up so then you can tell that you need more stuffing because your finger just left a gap. And if you can roll it around, if you have too much coming out, then you know you've overstuffed it. You can move your band down. For round 15, what we're going to do is 1 single crochet, and then the rest of the chains you're going to stitch together. I'm going to use the invisible decrease, so I'm adding an extra band. So you're going to do 1 single crochet followed by 7 decreases. your invisible one we're using this time. So I'm going to go in the first chain just with a single band. And then I'm just going to decrease all the way until I get to my stitch marker. Just doing the slip stitches and leaving it on your hook. And then go into your second to do a slip stitch and then slide. 3 loops and slide. Now stitch these two together. Three loops and slide. And again. Again, slip stitch, leave it on your hook. And again. One more time. And slide. So you should have 8 stitches, and remove your stitch marker, and we're going to do round 16, which is our last round, and we're going to close it off. Round 16, we're going to decrease on every stitch around until we get to our stitch marker, and our last band we're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm doing the invisible decrease method again, so I'm adding an extra band. So the first chain, your slip stitch and leave it on your hook. And the next. 3 loops. Another invisible decrease. And slide. 2 more. And slide. And just 1 more. And your last band, do that slip knot. So the last chain, bring it through all of your loops and tie it closed and remove your stitch marker. Now to sew on the ear, I'm going to do this side first, and then I'm going to sew this top piece of the pumpkin on, and then I'm going to do the next ear. So I want you to find your placement for the ear. That's what we're going to do first. So even if you put it down flat, you want to see where you want to go. So we're probably not going to be in the same spots. So we just kind of want it. This is the top part of the ear, so I'm kind of like in half of the eye here. So the measurement, kind of like that. And I'm just going to bring the 3 sewing bands through 3 of the chains. So this is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to pick 3 chains, go through on the head and bring your band through, the next chain right beside, slide, and the next, and slide. Turn it around, and you're going to catch that sewing band that's on the corner here of the ear and bring a single white band through and do a slip knot to secure it. Make sure you like the placement. Now I'm going to sew this piece on, and I'm going to use 18 bands. I'm just going to single chain right around, and I'm going to catch the body first and then this piece. I am going to kind of sew right on top of the ear here so I could have it off to the side, and you want to just start kind of anywhere that you would like. Now my magic ring is right there, this magic circle. It's kind of right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my magic circle and I'm going to catch the chain right below. And I'm going to catch the chain right beside the slip knot. And I'm going to bring my first band through, both of those chains on my hook and side. Now all I'm going to do is go to the chain right beside it. So I'm going to put it flat. I'm going to go to the chain right below and then go through the chain on the orange. If you go through the orange part first and then through the chain on the head, it just gives it a different look. So just keeping it flat, I'm going to the next chain over. So I am here, I'm going to put it flat and bring the next band through. You just want to crochet. You could do slip knots if you want. You can go put it flat, grab the next chain, and bring it through both of the chains on your hook and side. Putting it flat again. I'm just going to the next chain right beside, and it's right below the orange chain. And your last band, you are going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So when I get to the ear, I'm just going to catch one of the bands, one of the chains, and I'm just catching another chain on the ear. Put it flat and the chain right underneath on the ear. I'm going to catch with the chain on the body, on this orange part. Putting it flat. This is my last band, so I'm just going to do a slip knot. And then you can hide these slip knots by going through. Now I'm just going to add the other ear with a single band and just find your placement again. You'll notice if I put it this way, it's sticking out a bit. So I'm just going to put it this way where you kind of see it curled down the ear. And we want to be even. And I'm staying along, I'm measuring through the center of the eye. And I'm going to sew it right here, finding 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to check my placement before I tie this one. And turn it around and catch that sewing band and do a slip knot. Now if you find that your ears are sticking out too much, what you could do is I'm going to do a slip knot. That's what I did here. I'm just going to catch a little chain on this head here, and I'm just going to catch a single band here, and I'm going to do a slip knot with another band. And then you can just go in the ears and then just hide this little the slip knots around. And keep pulling. So we're done now. You could hide this little slip knot. I did move the placement for the arms on my own here. I was a little bit too far, so you can check that out. Easy to kind of fix. And you can just fill something inside or just have it sitting on top. I did kind of put C-clips for support, making more of a mess. I want to get some candy. I don't have any right now. I think it'll be a nice idea. So I do hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.